First, in Grimsby, there's a property which has to be made safe. It could fall down. It's a job for a no-nonsense John Wate, the Sheriff of Grimsby. All John knows is that this was once a bric-a-brac shop. Now, it's just brick.
The owner isn't in a state medically to give us any advice or assistance as to what may be in there due to his age and current medical conditions.
John looks it over with a well-trained eye.
Years gone by, there's been a substantial fire in here, which kind of the smoke-damaged areas and the lack of floor, etc. I think we are all dealing with a pretty unsound situation here. We should all vacate the premises because it's very, very unsafe. Yeah, we'll go around the back then.
John and his posse are on the trail, checking the owner's lockup at the back.
No one really knows what goes on behind closed doors. I'm hoping that we're going to find it's all nice, clean, prim and proper, but I doubt it. A bit rough.
John fears the worst.
Nightmare waiting to happen.
He won't have to wait long before the full extent of the nightmare becomes apparent. Back at the lockup, the Sheriff of Grimsby is meeting some stiff resistance.
What we'll do now is just resort to a trusty steel saw, and it'll be off within minutes.
John is first through the door.
Here's Johnny!
And he soon finds himself in a strange new world.
We've got an array of, well, it's difficult to say. We've got fridges, we've got electrical appliances, and then again, it's got substantial damage to the roof areas and support for the building.
This situation is bad, but it's about to get worse.
Looking at this pile in front of me, I can certainly see a number of butane gas cylinders, which could have proved to be very hazardous.
The sheriff and his deputies may have met their match, but that's not the right phrase.
These cylinders, believe it or not, are actually all full. So, pretty volatile, to say the least.
With flammable gas around, it's over to Fireman Carl.
Also, what we're removing here is a can of gas cylinder. When these go off, these will blow the side of a house out. That's how dangerous they are.
As a fire expert, he takes gas cylinders very seriously.
The normal procedure for firefighting with this would be to evacuate at least 200 yards around the fire area onto the fire ground, and also we'd have to put water on this for 24 hours. So the whole firefighting procedure changes, it becomes a major issue just for the one cylinder.
I think even the uninitiated can see that this is just really a disaster waiting to happen.
The obvious danger has been dealt with, and John can now call in his deep clean team. Back in Grimsby, a much-needed deep clean of the lockup has been ordered, and Grime Fighters Darren, Steve and Sean have taken up the challenge.
Bit of a mess. It's definitely a fire risk. I really am surprised I haven't been burnt down.
The rubbish here has accumulated over years, and clearing it means a journey back in time. But when Steve finds some vintage entertainment, he's not amused.
Not very good reading though, is it?
As the team dig deeper, they unearth more potentially lethal dangers.
These two are fire hydrants, and this one's a gas canister, which is, well, it could be quite lethal if somebody gets in here and sets fires to it.
I don't know what's in this canister here, because there's no signs on it. Could be flammable liquid. There's nothing on it at all. It's obviously been here a long time. We'll put that to one side, give the council a ring round and see what they say.
Unnamed fluids in rusty containers, however, are nothing compared to what Darren now finds.
Quite a bit of asbestos. Obviously at the moment we don't have to wear the P2 mask, but as we start finding it and as we start taking more of it down, we'll have to start putting the apparatus gears on.
Leaving them to last, putting them all in a pile, get rid of them at the end.
But the dangers of asbestos are quickly outweighed by the potential rewards.
If you find something you think it is worth something, take it to the auctions. You know, simple as that. Obviously, if it's on the job, what's a private job, then it's not yours, but on any other jobs, it's pretty much if you find it, just auction it. I once did actually find a fishing rod once, and it was worth a bit of money. What was valuable was some ornaments. I got about £1,000 for.
Might come across a few antiques. You never know.
Recent member of the team and novice prospector Steve is hoping to strike it rich.
There's your antique, Steve.
Where?
Oh, there.
There, look. What do you reckon, 50p? Pound?
Like you see, now we're getting to the bottom, everything's just rotting away. Definitely more of a smell coming up from it all.
It seems Steve will have to content himself with something choice from the 20th century.
There you go.
A rusty pair of pliers.
Fortunate for Steve, he hasn't found his antiques he's been looking for all morning. But I'm sure he'll still get paid anyway, won't he? He's just dying to find something that's worth something. Not in this one.
If I did, I wouldn't be telling you lot.
No, you won't.
The lads may not have discovered hidden treasure, but at least they've cleared up an almighty mess.
Yeah, it's all pretty much all swept up, all finished. Case of the next job. The only really hazardous materials we found, apart from obviously your sharps and that, is your asbestos, which is just your cement-based asbestos, and just a few gas bottles and fire extinguishers.
With the last of the litter loaded onto the lorry, it's clunk, click, and off to the skip.